The speech exercises, the role-playing, the telling of her life story, all were part of Sedlin's effort to prepare Diana for the expanded role she imagined for herself. In one exercise, he coached her in how to do a television interview, for instance.
You don't look at the camera. You wander your eyes around a little bit, but you don't go all over the place because we wonder where you're looking.
At times, Diana looked more like a harried, multitasking mom than a proper princess at work in her palace. After all, she had 2 young princes to take care of, and they sometimes interrupted the practice sessions.
If you come in here, you sit down and be quiet.
Got to be very quiet.
Very quiet.
When this tape was recorded, Prince William was 11 and Prince Harry was 9.
Don't touch it, William, because it's all focused on me.
Your Royal Highness, you're currently concentrating very much on your charity work. Would you like to tell us why you feel it's so important to you?
I got nothing else to do.
Recording.
Sorry.
Take 2.
Occasionally, Harry joined in.
So, have you recently met anybody that's actually touched you quite a lot and what they're going through?
Yesterday I come across Harry Shush. I come across a great deal of people who. It's so difficult. I can't even string my words together.
Well, it's really hard. You've got 2 of the most impossible people sitting here with us.
Harry, shush.
Shush, Harry, sit
Right.
down.
It's good practice to cope
Just
with
sit.
that.
Just sit.
The transformation came together for Diana in the spring of 1993, when, after 6 months of working with Sedlin, the princess decided to acknowledge in public what people had been reading about in the tabloids for years, her bulimia and the pain behind it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have it on very good authority that the quest for perfection our society demands can leave the individual gasping for breath at every turn.
And there were people around her saying, you shouldn't do this, stay right away from it. But it empowered her.
Eating disorders, whether it be anorexia or bulimia, show how an individual can turn the nourishment of the body into a painful attack on themselves.
It made her feel powerful because she was saying, I know, and I'm fine. And now I'm going to tell all of you what it's like for the other ones.
She spoke from the heart.
With an edge of anger. It's like, read my lips. This is what it's like.
Stunned everyone. Diana's success was at last making a difference. Her daring new style was bringing her closer to people she wanted to help. It was also taking her away from sterile royal life and into a new independent future.
Mama.
Diana worked with Peter Sedlin from September 1992 to December 1993. During that time, her speeches got better, but the press got worse. The headlines about the royals' infidelities seemed to have no limit. Even Peter Sedlin got caught up in the craziness.
I had lunch with her in a restaurant not very far from here, and the press thought I was the next man. It was after the separation, I was the next man.
Excuse me, sir, can you tell me what your relationship is with Princess Diana?
And so 30 press were outside my house for 3 days. And it is terrifying. It's like they've come to pick over you. They come to, well, who is he? Who is he? What's he about? And it's horrible. And she said, well, at least you know what it's like now.
Then, in November 1993, the Daily Mirror printed infamous photos of Diana working out in a gym, in a leotard and bike shorts from rather un-princess-like angles. Diana felt defeated. Here she had spent so many hours working hard to craft a serious public image, and all the media cared about was getting racy pictures. She had had it.
When I started my public life 12 years ago, I understood the media might be interested in what I did.
In a speech for a charity luncheon in December 1993, she startled the crowd by announcing she was giving up most of the public charity work she cherished.
I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and to give me the time and space that has been lacking in recent years.
Diana would eventually go on to champion other causes. She was too bright a light to recede into the shadows. But that so-called time and space speech would be the last one Diana and Peter Sutherland worked on together.
Mr. Sutherland gave Diana many hours of entertainment in the way that he taught her to speak, and I think that he succeeded in making her talk in a less affected way. He, I think, made her speak in a more relaxed way. Diana at that time was very enthusiastic about gathering advice from all sorts of sources, and the result was that people came and went.
A lot of people came and went?
Quite a lot of people. There were plenty more people in the queue just itching to get into Kensington Palace and give her the benefit of their advice too.
How did she tell you that she did not want to work with you anymore?
She didn't tell me.
How did it end then?
Well, we didn't do any more speeches. The next speech she gave was 15 months later. Paths part, and other people move in. I offered up what I had. I think it helped her, and her world moved on.
Suddenly, Diana alone was in charge of her destiny. But by now, the princess had hit her stride. She was confident, prepared, and good at being herself.
Yeah, I'm only trying to highlight a problem that's going on all around the world. That's all.
Just her very presence could move mountains. Powerful messages delivered with the Diana touch. There's a famous photograph of Diana with a landmine victim on her lap.
That changed history, that picture. World leaders within 3 days changed the law on landmines, and everybody had been trying to do it for years. One picture. 90 journalists had traveled across the planet to be with her, to get a picture, and she said, yeah, you can have the picture, but she's in the picture with me, okay?
As the world knows too well, the course Diana was charting would end before she figured out where she was headed. It was just a few weeks after Diana died, in August of 1997, that the drama over the Sutherland videotapes began. Sutherland had begun to wonder whatever happened to those tapes he'd recorded and left with her years before. He wrote a letter asking palace officials to return the tapes to him. Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, wrote back and told Sutherland the tapes had been destroyed, which might have been the end of it until Sutherland read some intriguing news.
It was in the paper that Paul Burrell had a lot of possessions of the royal family in his house. And my wife and I were having dinner. It was her birthday. And I said, I bet you the tapes are there.
In fact, they were. Sutherland went to the police, but they were of no help. Nor was the Spencer family, which said the tapes were part of Diana's legacy and claimed ownership. Sutherland decided to sue. A judge ordered that the tapes be returned to him. The Spencers would not comment for this program.
Why did you fight so hard to get the tapes back?
Because they're mine, and they're private. I have a right to have what I did in my possession. And they tried to take that away from me. And that's not fair. We're all equal.
Not all the tapes were recovered, however. Diana herself suggests there's more to come at the very end of the interview tape.
Wait to hear what happened when I get engaged. You'll be horrified.
According to the British media, the missing tapes contain explosive material.
The London papers have written that they reveal that Prince Philip once referred to Diana as a mad cow, that Diana fantasized about running off to New York with James Hewitt, and that she had a falling out with each one of her siblings. And there's more. Is any of that true?
No, that's not in there. That's not in the tapes, in anything that I recorded.
You're saying that none of these reports I just reiterated to you are true?
No.
And you're saying that there was an intentional effort to
make
put out information that was incorrect to make you look bad?
But that also would then justify why they could, I shouldn't have them. That they, they're too private, and they're too personal, and they shouldn't be seen by anybody, including me. That I shouldn't ever see them again if I hadn't got them in my possession.
But there is another reason the media have been critical of Peter Sutherland. At the time the tapes were being fought over in court, Sutherland's attorney very publicly insisted his client never intended to release them.
The fact that you are now talking about these tapes and making them public begs the question, were you lying to the courts? through your attorney?
At that particular time, that is exactly what we would have done. I just want my tapes back. But they wouldn't, I was not being aided in any way to get them back. I then had to make a decision as to, do I just let it go and let other people do whatever they want with them, or do I try in some form to take back control of that material?
What about the fact that Sedlin sold the tapes to NBC News? He says he made the deal so he could pay his lawyer.
People have said that the fact that you're releasing these tapes exploits Diana.
I can't stop them saying it. I don't necessarily agree.
But do you think you exploit her?
No, I don't. Not now.
Because she didn't expect these tapes to be released.
She didn't know she was going to die. She didn't know that people were going to write what they have about her and twist the truth.
How much of the money that you've gained from selling these tapes will be for the legal costs of paying to fight for the release of these tapes?
A substantial amount will go to that. Some of it will go to look after a child that we adopted from Russia, and some of it will go to charities that I care about. And some of it will help me live, because over the last few years, what they've done has affected my ability to earn a living.
So much about this captivating woman will always remain an untold story. Would she have remarried? How far might she have gone? What other causes would she have championed? What we do know is this: in the time she was here, when she didn't have to, Princess Diana chose to make a difference.
Historically, I'm sure she will be remembered as the unhappy victim of a broken royal marriage. But it's even more important that we should remember her as a very strong and effective force for good.
What would she want?
I think on a bad day, Diana would like to be remembered as a victim. But I think on a good day, and most of the days were good days, she'd want to be remembered as somebody who was strong, sympathetic, and made a difference.
She was just beginning to be quite a dynamic force when she died. People change their lives by stories that they read or they hear about. Well, her story was this woman brought into a situation that disempowered her and made her feel inadequate as a human being in a very public way. And you can actually see her move from that to becoming a powerful woman. Not a girl, but a woman, ready to take on almost anybody.
I knew that something profound was coming my way, and I was just treading water, waiting for it. I didn't know what it was, I didn't know where it was, but I knew I was different from my friends in where I was going.